What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. We are live for the first time, so thank you everybody for joining. I see a few people here: Lou, Retrohead, and Sean. Thank you very much for joining this early. Like usually, from my past experience of doing live streams on the old channel, it takes a while for people to roll in. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me this evening. I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I've got some pickups to talk about, some Xbox stuff. I've got a live parcel opening, and I want to talk about the Evercade. But most importantly, like I said in the thumbnail, it's a live Q&A. So I really want you guys to drop your questions about games, channel, about the channel, whatever you want, really, within reason, of course, guys, within reason, right? But yeah. So basically, I'm gonna start off with the pickups. Be sure to drop your questions in the comments and stuff like that. It's all cool. But yeah, I got some pickups recently. So at Christmas time, I got a bunch of money, so I picked up this game called Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. This is developed by a company called Don't Nod. If you don't know who they are, they made a game called Vampire, which is a kind of like a gothic London RPG where you're a vampire, and it was really cool. I liked it a lot. This game sounds really cool. It looks kind of like God of War 2018 in terms of the way it's presented, but it's like you're these two, or you're a ghost hunter, for example. Your partner dies, she becomes a ghost, and now you're kind of like you're in this open world trying to hunt ghosts and deciding whether you should vanquish these ghosts or let them free. Like it's got some decision making there. Apparently the story is really cool. So looking forward to checking this one out. Let me know in the comments if you've played this one, because it looks really good to me. That's the Banishers. Next up, if you don't know, I've been playing the Devil May Cry series. So I picked up the Devil May Cry reboot, which no one likes except for me. But yeah, I've been playing the series, and I've played 5, 4, 3, been backwards order for some reason, and 2. 5 I thought was really good, really fun. The only downside about 5 is the V character is a bit crap to play. He's not good. He's rubbish. But when you're Nero and you're Dante, it's actually a really good game. Devil May Cry 4 was bad, just straight up bad. Like so much recycles, so much like recyclable bosses and levels that were just like, this is boring me to hell. It's boring me to hell. It's rubbish. Devil May Cry 3 is probably the best in the series. I really enjoyed that one. A good 9 out of 10 game. One of the best games on the PS2, in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic. I've not replayed this since I had it in 2013, so I'm not sure how it holds up. I know a lot of hardcore Devil May Cry fans don't like this game, which I don't know why. I understand the redesign is a bit redesign. Oh my god, this is my dancer, you ruined it. But yeah, I know the redesign is a bit rubbish, but I think the gameplay and core mechanics are pretty decent for the reboot. But the less we talk about Devil May Cry 2, the better. One of the worst games ever made, ever. Don't play Devil May Cry 2, guys. It's dreadful. 1 out of 10 I gave it. 1 out of 10. Devil May Cry is bloody awful. Don't buy it. Don't play it. The Devil May Cry HD collection would be better value without that game in it. It's that bad. Don't play Devil May Cry 2. It's terrible. The reboot, it's all right, though, from what I remember. But I need to replay it. I've got this transfixed of, like, having games in my collection that kind of like a little bit of history. So I picked up these day one 2013 Xbox One games that came with these silver backgrounds. So I've got Dead Rising 3. You see the silver backgrounds there. Day one 2013. Because I thought these would be cool little kind of like bits of history on the shelf. I will play them, obviously. But I mean, just to have them in the collection is a cool like reminder of the terrible Xbox One launch we all remember. 2013. That's Dead Rising 3. Forza Motorsport 5. Not played this one. I didn't get an Xbox One straight away on release, so I've not played this one. But yeah, had to get this one. I do love my racing games as well, so Forza Motorsport 2 is definitely Forza Motorsport 5. I'm a twat. Yeah, that one. This one I'm holding right here. It's this game, Jason, you twat. Fucking number 5, not 2, dickhead. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to playing that one. But yeah, like I said, Day One Edition 2013, kind of a silver grey background. Yeah, I just wanted to get these ones because they're quite cool. There is Rise Son of Rome, which I have ordered but I've not got yet. And I picked up this game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan. I'm a big fan of the Platinum Games developer, and they put out some pretty like top tier premium games in my opinion. Bayonetta is one of the best action games ever made, ever. Like in my opinion, it's so good. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is a really good Metal Gear spin-off, and yeah, they've made some great games. And I've heard this one's kind of middling. It's not that great, but I love Ninja Turtles, so I thought, yeah, I've got to give it a go. It's Ninja Turtles and Platinum Games. It's got to be at least decent, if not amazing, right? So that is Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan. There's that. Just gonna jump onto the chat quickly. Lou, early bird here. Thank you for joining the stream, Lou. I really do appreciate it. Retrohead, thank you very much for joining the stream again. I'm gonna be repeating myself like a fucking retarded parrot, but thank you for joining the stream, mate. I really appreciate it. Sean, I appreciate you commenting on the videos as of late. So thanks for joining the stream. Hello, where is GTA 6? From what I remember, GTA 6 is after GTA 5. That's where it is. It's there after 5. Don't tell me where it's coming out though. I ain't got a clue. Here's my girlfriend Soph in the chat, invading the chat, as they say. Thanks for joining the stream, Soph. Appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Of course, it's tidy. I do it. You make it a mess. Anyway, Harry's in the chat. Hi, Harry. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. People talking to each other. Donald, the man of the mackerel gaming. Hope you're doing well, Donald. It's just been a little while. We haven't chatted in a while, Donald. We need to get on a chat at some point and chat about games as we do. You should show off what I got you for Christmas. Oh yeah, I should actually. That's a good shout. Thank you very much. It's a good shout. So for Christmas, she got me this little Tetris arcade machine, which is pretty cool. It's like well cute. It's adorable, and it does actually play. I don't know. It sounded like someone dropped their fucking plates downstairs then for some reason. Let's have a look. Right, is it? Oh wait, new game, you bastard. Yeah. Here we go. It's got the classic tune of Tetris. It's awesome. Enough of that, Jason twat. Stop being a dickhead. Thank you. Yeah, so that was that. Sean says, I meant that as tongue in cheek. As a GTA fan, I feel an old Rose in Titanic. It's been 87 years since 5. I mean, it has, right? It's been it's been like a complete like. I'm old now. You know, that's how it is. I'm old now. It's absolutely mental. But then again, number 6 is going to come out, and what they're going to do, they're going to milk that for 25 years, right? They're going to milk it until it's dead. Because I don't know why it's taking them so long. It's just because they make so much bunk. Try it again, guys. Because they make so much bank on GTA 6, on GTA 5. So I'm getting confused now, for fuck's sake. Because they make so much money. Because they make so much money on GTA 5 for the online thing, they haven't needed to make anything else because it's just like constant money, churning. So I'm surprised we're even getting. Can you imagine how many edits I've got to make on my videos, guys? I'm just like, yeah. I'm actually surprised we were even getting GTA 6 because they could just perpetually re-release GTA 5 and make loads of money on it. You know, how many versions is there? There's the original version that came out for 360. Then we got the Xbox One PS4 versions that introduced the first-person mode. Then we got the PS5 and Xbox Series version, which I'm assuming is age of ray tracing and other things like that. And then you can download GTA 5 online separately, so you got that as a separate thing. So yeah, they could just continue to just regurgitate that game over and over again if you wanted to. Bethesda have been doing that for years with Skyrim, so it's obvious, right? They could do it, but I'm glad we're getting a new game in the Grand Theft Auto series. I'm not a massive fan of that game series, but I've got fond memories of playing the original one, the top-down one, the original one. It's I remember having loads of fun with that, and GTA 2 was really fun. Obviously, GTA 3 completely blew the series into absolute superstardom. But yeah, back to the comments, mates. Soph says, miss your weirdness. I'm not weird. I'm just unique. There you go. How about that? Don says, love to have another natter, mate. Talking to other people. Another normal Yorkshireman. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining me, man. Really do appreciate it. I love the profile picture you've got there. The Xenomorph on the smartphone. It's pretty much everyone these days, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we're all fucking Xenomorphs on smartphones. Sean says, you did have Red Dead Redemption 2 in the middle. In the middle there, you play that game, you realise why it took 8 years, but it's been 7 years since Red Dead Redemption 2. That game is incredible. I've never beat it personally, but I remember getting on it about 5 years after the fact. I played that game way late after it was like all the buzzes, it left it, and it was just like, known to be a great game. I played loads of it, but I just found myself just being a complete and colossal dickhead to everyone, like making jokes, calling out someone in the street and going, oh, I'm sorry, man. And then go, your hat's stupid. And then you're like, what did you say to me? You're like, oh, sorry, mate. I'm joking. I used to just screw with people in that game, and it's just so much fun. But the actual story was pretty good, but it was so massive that I only can spend so much time in these open world games, and I do get a bit burnt out on them very quickly. So it's all about these more kind of linear narrative games that I really like majority of the time. Or if it's Doom, then I'm all over those FPS games. Donald said, I don't think GTA 6 will be much cop, as pretty much everyone from the GTA team has left Rockstar. It could potentially be a franchise killer, or at least a new direction for the series. I've heard that it's going to be less offensive to certain groups of people, which, in my opinion, goes against the whole ethos of GTA. GTA for me was always a crime open world game that lampooned, that parodied real life and real social things, stuff like that. It was a massive, just like poking fun at everything about life. And if they're just going to be kind of like, oh, we better not offend that person, we better not offend that group of people, we better be careful there, it's going to take the fun out of that game. That game was all about, let's be as offensive as possible, but make it so people can have fun and play the game anyway. And I feel the fact that a lot of these studios are going in this direction of like, let's make our game based on a checklist. Let's race swap everybody. Let's make sure everyone's accounted for in representation. And I just feel like it dilutes creativity, in my opinion. Not that I'm against different kinds of characters. Like characters, that's what drive games for me, is characters. And if you can create a really cool character that happens to be from a certain group of people or a certain race or a certain creed of life, that's cool. But when it's just ticking a box, I feel like it really hurts a game. And you've seen all these games flopping recently because they've been checking boxes that no one wants them to check. And it's a shame. And I feel like GTA 6 could be on that cusp of like, how far are they going to go to be a checkbox game. I'm hoping Rockstar won't do that, because Rockstar is so big now they can just do what they like and still make loads of money. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this game is going to be good, but I guess we have to see, man. Like Sean said, it's been 7 years since Red Dead Redemption 2. So, and obviously it's been 12 years since GTA 5. So they've had plenty of time to figure out what this game was going to be before they even make it. I reckon the pre-production for GTA 6 probably was massive. It took ages just to get the pre-production of it down. But yeah. Soph says, or she asks anyway, what is one game that you would like to teach / show me to play? I don't know. I don't think our tastes align at all, if I'm honest. I don't know what it is. Teach is a weird word to use, actually. I don't know. Teach to play. You either can get used to playing it or you don't. I don't know. That's a difficult one. I think our tastes are too different. The only game we kind of agreed on that we liked together was that Power Wash Simulator, because it was like the most chill out thing ever. Another normal Yorkshireman says, GTA 6 will be a woke-filled mess. All the devs that made GTA have gone, all full of DEI hires. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I didn't want to bring politics into this stream really, but you can't really avoid it these days. Like, unfortunately, especially in the games like scene, you can't really avoid this kind of stuff. And the DEI thing, it's just like it might as well stand for discrimination, exemption, and intolerance, because it's state mandated racism and sexism at this point. It really is. It's like, let's not hire any white people because we can choose not to. That's discrimination. And it's just like, there's no meritocracy anymore. There's no, let's hire this person based on their credentials and their their history of work and their work ethic and their ability to do the job. It's all about, like, are they gay? Are they black? Are they from a certain minority group? Are they this? And I have no problem with any of that. That's fine. This stuff shouldn't gauge whether you get a job or not. It should be, can you do the job? Do you have the ability? Do you have a track record of being reliable? That's where it should be. And it's just, I think I'm with you on that. Another normal Yorkshireman. I need to figure out to shorten that name because it's awkward to say. But yeah, I think I agree with this, and it's a shame. The modern gaming industry is in the toilet at the moment. That's why I'm all about the retro stuff at the moment, because it'll always be king. Sean asks, you ever going back to the movie channel or full stem ahead on the gaming channel? Yeah, it's looking that way. I just don't have the passion, even though you can see behind me, I love films. I've got all the films here. Literally, choice fatigue incarnate is what that is. Just ask Soph, she'll tell you. We never can choose anything to watch. I love films. I love film. When I'm in the mood for a film, I fucking love it. But I feel like when it concerns talking about movies, I feel like I'm just out of ideas and out of the passion for that kind of stuff. So I'm having so much fun on this gaming channel, and there's always something to talk about with gaming. And I can show game footage without having any copyright issues as well. So there's different with the movie stuff. I feel like with the movie channel, trying to show clips of a movie when you're trying to describe a film can get you into hot water a lot of the time. So I'm just finding this channel a bit easier to create content for. I've got infinite ideas with video games, and there's a whole, and a massive array of generations. Sorry, excuse me, generations to talk about, right? So I think it's awesome. This channel's been awesome. So I thank everybody in the chat here who's supported my channel. It's done wonders for my mental health and stuff like that. So yeah, full stream ahead with this gaming channel. The gaming channel that I don't technically play games on, but it's about video games, of course, right? Harry says, but I agree, they're better not censor it. Not so much censor, but I think there will probably kind of, it'll be very much vetted on what they will do in terms of certain things. So I don't know. Censorship is not a thing I expect them to do, but they'll probably, if they do plan to go the full DAI route, which I hope they don't, but if they do, I think it'll be like, you'd be able to tell the game is treading on eggshells. And the closest comparison to what we're talking about with DEI stuff is the reboot of Saints Row. That game was a disaster. I've never played it, so I can't comment from a first person experience. But from all the articles, from all the reviews, that game was a disaster, and it basically, apparently, nobody knew who it was for, because they already had a really successful thing with the original set of games, right? So yeah, if GTA goes the way that Saints Row went, it might be like a train wreck. But I think GTA is so big at the moment, there's such a big IP that I think it might be able to take the hit because they've got infinite money. So maybe we'll see. I do see some channels try 2 channels and one often gets neglected. It's hard stuff, man. It's difficult. When I started this one, I was wholeheartedly, going to have both channels on the go, but it became such a workload, and I was so full of ideas for this channel. It was new and exciting, and I was all excited about it. Not that I wasn't excited about the movie channel when I was doing it, but it got to a point where, like, I felt like with the movie channel, my content just became a mirror of everyone else's content. So I kind of got a bit burnt out on it, and I found myself finding difficult to find ideas to talk about things, and I didn't think I had the knowledge of enough films to really make it worthwhile. You've got people like Nige over there, Rock God 2004. He's got a massive knowledge into the video nasties era from the 80s. You just got a bunch of people, Andy from Forgotten World of Movies, massive knowledge of movies in that channel, and I just feel like I didn't really have enough knowledge to really push forward and do that one anymore. And I feel like I've got more knowledge in video games because I've lived through all the video games pretty much. So I feel like I've got some kind of credence there to talk about video games a bit easier and a bit with more kind of confidence, I suppose is the word I'm looking at. Yorkshireman says Grand Theft Auto Liberal City. Maybe. Maybe. Don't forget The Last of Us. Last of Us is fantastic. Love those games so much. They're like so good. Number 2 is on par with number 1. I don't care what anyone says. I adore The Last of Us 2. Lou says, I find that political talk in games is bullshit because gamers come in all kinds of people. Yeah, that is very true. And where's the escapism there, right? Where's the escapism? I want to go into a video game and forget about the real world for a couple of hours. I don't want to be lectured about certain social issues in a video game. That's how I see that. Yorkshireman says, merit hiring is no longer a thing. Just look at Dragon Age, Falguard, a whole dev team of lefty shims. Never heard that term before. That's new to me. Donald shortens my name as Yorkie. Okay, cool. Going forward, you'll be Yorkie. Cheers, mate. James P. Greetings from Baltimore, USA. Just discovered you and look forward to watching more of your channel. Thanks so much, James. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream as well. First ever stream. I'm shitting my pants, but we're doing all right so far. I'm guessing. Yorkie says Saints Row Reboot is awful, mate. It's a game for that mythical modern audience. Plus, the game was just bad to play, even without the message. Yeah, I've heard that it was very broken. The thing is, though, I think they gave it away on PlayStation Plus because I think I've got it in my library on PS5. So if I wanted to, I could download it and just cringe at it if I wanted to. Right? Don't play it. Just watch. Just play it and just cringe. Could do that. Sean asks, "Are you a Spyro fan?" The first 3 games are fantastic on PS1. What was it called? They remade them, didn't they? In that trilogy, the remake trilogy, I suppose, or whatever they called it. That was great. But I've not really played much else in the Spyro series. Like you had like Spyro Hero's Tale, Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, I think was a game. But I've only played the 3 main PS1 games, and the Reignited trilogy. That's what it was called. The Reignited trilogy, the remakes. I played the remakes. They're great. I love Spyro. Spyro's great. Sean says, you ever find it hard to play older games? I think I'm older. Wait, I'm lost here. You ever find it hard to play older games? I think an older movie, as long as the script and acting is good, you can watch it. Playing old games is hard for me. I get what you're saying. I do agree to some degree, and I think it is on the same with movies, right? It's on a game per game basis. Some games hold up really well, like a lot of the Super Nintendo library, I think, holds up really well, like Super Metroid and Super Mario World. Yoshi's Island, one of my favorite platformers ever. Just it's pristine. It plays so well, even today, and it's like 30 years old. So like movies, I think games it's a game by game basis. I find that a lot of the early 3D stuff does struggle really hard in controls and visuals. It looks bad, frame rate's awful. I look at some of the the Atari Jaguar stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. It looks too jank. So yeah, I think there's not not used by date, for example, like the expiry date, but I do feel for me, once you get past the NES stage, I think they're too old. Like Atari 2600, I can't get on board. It's too archaic at that point for me. It's beyond my time, and it's too simple. Is the best, is a polite way of saying it, right? They're too simple. There's not enough. I mean, like I say that, but I love Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man's one of the greatest arcade games ever. But I think Pac-Man's got that satisfying, addictive gameplay loop. But I think a lot of the older games beyond the NES era are really just so archaic and ancient. Not saying people are ancient if you're older than the NES, but I find that it can be a bit difficult. But yeah, game to game basis, like I find, like I said, like the early 3D games can be really rough to go back to. Like I think I used to have the PlayStation Mini that they put out. It was rubbish. But I played Battle Arena Toshinden, right? A game that I've got loads of nostalgia for. Yeah, it's bad. Don't go back and play that one. Really early 3D fighter before Tekken. And if you look at Tekken, I think Tekken came out like a year later. Night and day in terms of its replayability. I can go back to the first Tekken and play it and be fine. Battle Arena Toshinden, it's bad. It doesn't run at all. It's so bad. Donald asks, what is the best rated game that you've never played? Oh man, that's a question. Well, as in like really, like as in like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Do you mean? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Best rated game that I've never played. Well, I'm trying to think of games that I know that like best games ever. Best games ever. Now I've got to think. Now I'm going mad. I'm looking around the room to see if I've got games anywhere that I've not played yet that are really highly rated. Don't know. I really can't think. Brain, think. No, I've not played that one. No, I've only got movies in this room. I've got nothing to reference myself. What has this got here? Has it got anything I haven't played before? No. Damn it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like IGN 10 out of 10 games, because usually I ignore them because IGN is shit. But highest rated games I have not played. Brain. Think of a game. See, I've played a lot of the big games. Like Elden Ring was like a 10 out of 10. I love that game. Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games ever. Yeah, lots a lot of the big games I've played. Best rated game I've not played. Shit. I'll have to have a think and come back to your question, Donald, because I have not got a Scooby-Doo with that one. It's a good question, though. My brain's just not working for me today. Jody King, new follower of myself, enjoying your content. Thanks so much, Jody. I really appreciate you joining us on the stream. Yorkie asks, favorite PS1 game? That is the easiest question of the evening so far. It is Metal Gear Solid. I tell you that I think I've explained it in the video before, but without Metal Gear Solid, I wouldn't have grown up with video games, if that makes sense. Like Metal Gear Solid kind of made it where it changed my perspective on games as, okay, video games aren't for children now. Do you know what I mean? Like it really pushed the boundaries of what you could do narratively, what you could do graphically, and most importantly, it had a wide variety of mechanical, crazy good mechanical stuff that made the game infinitely fun to play over and over. Just beating that game over and over again as a kid. Absolutely love it. I actually played it last year. I've got it digital on the PS3. I played it again last year all the way through, and it was just like, this game holds up still, even 40 years later almost. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking mental. All right, it's like 40 years, more like 30 years later. But you know what I mean? Like it switched that. It had that. It was the game that kind of flipped the script, as they say, and made games feel like they were grown up to me as a kid. Because I was like 10 years old when that game came out, or 12 years old, something like that. So it was a big deal. It'll always be my favorite PS1 game. When I started collecting PS1, it was like, that's the one game I want to get. I've got the platinum version, but having a black label would be nice if I actually could find it in a nice condition. I'll find with those PS1 games, especially those double disc case ones, they're really usually shit, usually cracked and broken all the time. Jody says, Critters film kept me up for days as a wee boy. I adore Critters. If you can't tell, you probably noticed there's a poster there and the box set right there. Yeah, Critters. Not gaming related at all, but it's my favorite film of all time. Like if I'm sad, I'll watch it. It makes me feel better. Any mood I'm in, there's always time for Critters for me. I adore it. It's my favorite film of all time. James P says, played some back yesterday. The most fun I've had with an FPS in a long time. It's one of the best, mate. That's why it's one of the best FPS games ever, in my opinion. And this backwards compatible on the Series X. Where my hand going there, and yeah, it still holds up really well. And the Xbox Series X gave it a frame rate boost, so it feels smoother to play. And I think it's one of those games that came out really late on that generation, the 6th generation, and it looks amazing. It looks unreal. It looks unbelievable in its visuals, and it is a gun nuts wet dream, right? It's got amazing reload animations. The guns are so accurate, really accurate, apparently, according to reviews. But yeah, like, it's awesome. And I love reload animations. I'm a sucker for reload animations. And that game has some of the best reload animations. But Donald says the best PS1 game is Popstar Maker. I have to disagree. One, because I've never played it, so I can't comment. And two, if it's not Metal Gear Solid, you're wrong. Only joking. Mate, this guy has the best name. This person has the best name. Pixel Slapper, welcome to the stream. Nostalgia sometimes catches the wind. I think nostalgia can ruin a lot of things, because I feel like when we talk about nostalgia, because we get warm and fuzzy feelings in our tum-tums, we kind of look at it differently. And there's so many games that I've picked up based on nostalgia and childhood memories that are absolute trash, absolute dog shit now that you can't play. I like the Tenchu games, right? But the lack of an analog stick in those first two PS1 Tenchu games is an absolute sin, and those games are really hard to play now. And I'm like, oh, I still want them for the collection, but I'm just like, I'm so upset. I wanted to play them. But yeah, that's my example. Yeah, nostalgia can ruin things big time, and because a lot of my nostalgia comes from when I was a child. Getting the Master System when I was like 5 or 6, getting the PS1 when I was like 10 years old. Because you don't remember things completely 100%, nostalgia can warp things as well. And there have been cases where games have not been nowhere near as good, or I've remembered them completely wrong, and it's not even the same game that I thought it was. So yeah, nostalgia can be a double-edged sword there, I think. How dare you have parsnips without me? I'm offended. I'm not really, don't care. But enjoy your parsnips. Sean says, I think physical media for games is going to go in the 5 to 8 years. They're really pushing non-disc consoles, and I find with movies there is a market there, not so much for games. Well, I think physical for modern the current crop of consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X, I think physical are just there just for the sake of it anyway, because the whole game is not on the disc. You put in an Xbox Series X game or a PS5 game, it's got to download the whole game anyway. So you've only got maybe like a couple of gigs worth of data on the disc. So physical for the modern consoles is already out. I mean, they put them out on shelves. They sell physical because they're catering to that niche of people that will buy them physically. But in reality, you're not getting the game on the disc. You're getting a little percentage of the game on the disc, and they have to download the rest. So physical media for games is already dead, in my opinion. That's why I've gone retro, because those games have the full game on the disc. And the only reason I've bought these, for example, is because usually buying the games like this is still cheaper than buying them on the store, right? Digital stores. So I end up getting them physical just for the price point, rather than, oh yeah, I've got them physical. It's not like that at all. It's basically more like, oh, these were cheaper than buying them from the store. So yeah, I feel like physical games for the modern system is dead, and I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, whatever they're going to call it, Xbox Series around the world in 80 days, whatever they're going to call that. I reckon they're going to be discless. I don't think they're going to provide a disc option whatsoever. Hell, that's if Xbox even has another system, because of the way they're going. I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox Game Pass will just be an app you download from now on. You know, they've already done it. It's already on PC. I wouldn't be surprised if they migrate over to PlayStation. That'd be interesting. But yeah, that's a cool talking point though. Could talk about it for ages. The whole physical media thing. Pixel Slapper says Virtua Fighter on the Saturn had great mechanics. See, like that's an example of an early 3D fighter that was good. That was well made, right? But it was built on arcade hardware, and at the time, arcade hardware was much more superior than the early crop of 3D gaming consoles. So, I mean, like Virtua Fighter is a good example of a good early 3D fighting game. But I was talking about Battle to Shinden, and that game was bad. bad. Don says, Game of the Year winners or contenders. I say last year's Game of the Year winner, Astrobot. Haven't played it yet. Really want to. Like the Playroom game. Amazing. Probably the best thing on PS5, in my opinion, is the Asteroids Playroom. Does an amazing job to showcase what the console can do graphically, but also showcase what the controller can do, the DualSense. Amazing. But yeah, I really want to play Astrobot, but I didn't want to pay 70 quid for it. I'll rather wait for it goes on sale somewhere and pick it up a bit more. But yeah, Game of the Year, it's hard because every outlet has a different Game of the Year. So I don't know, which Game of the Year are you talking about? Are you talking about this one? Me, maybe I'm a Game of the Year. I don't know. Ask IGN, they might give me a 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's the thing. IGN's Game of the Year is a 7 out of 10 game because that's the only review they ever give out these days. Daniel Sanford, welcome to the stream. Appreciate it. Is there any game or franchise that you desperately want to like or get into, but you just can't? I have two games. One was in my games I fucking hate video, and that would be the Smash Brothers series. I've tried to get into that series over and over and over again, and it just doesn't happen. I just feel like the combat is absolute toss, and I don't think it really caters to like fighting game fans. It's mostly there for the casual party kind of audience, I suppose. Like the actual mechanics in that game is usually you win out of sheer luck rather than skill, in my opinion. Obviously, if you're a pro Smash Brothers player, sure, come on and tell me how much skill you put into it, because I don't know. I'm just gauging my experience from it. Yeah, but, the other franchise, because I love Capcom, right? My favorite gaming developer of all time, Monster Hunter. I've really wanted to get into that series. I've just never have. Like I've tried my best. I'm not really into the whole crafting stuff in games, so Monster Hunter is predicated on like getting new materials to craft new gear that will give you an advantage against the monster, and that kind of mechanic changes per monster. So, this time you might need to have glass armor to have an advantage against this other monster. So that kind of micromanagement kind of took me out of the experience of Monster Hunter. But I'm tempted to buy the original game for PS2 and start at the beginning and see if I can just understand the mechanics in the game a bit better just by playing the very first game, because that's got to be a good starting point, right? Because it's the first game; it teaches you all the mechanics, freshly from the first game. So, or I just look at some sort of forum that tell me which is the best game to start with, and I try that. But I've played Monster Hunter World, I've played Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. Just can't get into that series. And I love Capcom, but Monster Hunter it's something about it I just cannot grasp, which is a shame because I would love to get into those games because I'm all about like gearing yourself out of armor, getting a massive sword, and killing some monsters. I'm all for that. I love RPGs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's weird that it's not for me. What comment did I skip? What comment? I said about your parsnips right here. I don't know. Why do you care, Soph? I see you every day most of the time. You live here with me. Only because you're off at the moment. You're away with your mum's house. Where am I? Angry Retro Gamer, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining us. Good afternoon, CNC. What can we expect to see coming up on your channel? Right, so I'm just going to say this now. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock UK time, PS2 Hidden Gem video, because I had so much fun I had so much fun making that 360 Hidden Gems video, and I got loads of positive feedback on it. People seem to really like that kind of video. That I'm like, cool. Looks like I'm going to make a PS2 one. I might make other console Hidden Gem videos as well in the future. I'm humming and ahhing about doing gameplay videos, but I'm unable to capture my retro console. So it mostly be games on Steam, right? Because I've got NVIDIA graphics card, so I can, like, it allows you to record gameplay. But I'm not sure if people would come to the channel for gameplay. So I'm a bit iffy with that idea. But yeah, I'm just enjoying just doing the list videos. I love recommending games to you guys, and hopefully you can find games you've never heard of that you might enjoy. Like, one of my favorite videos that I've made in the whole channel is my best bad games video. I love making those videos where it's like, these games were awful, but I love them. You should play them. I love those kind of games where I'm recommending games that not many people might have thought about, because I'm guilty of it as well. Like, when you're looking for a game to play, you see like all the bad reviews, you go, maybe not, But nowadays I'm a bit older, and I'm like, yeah, but it's bad. It might be good. It might be a good bad that I might like. Who knows? But yeah, more of this videos. Gonna continue to build the gaming collection. Project PS2 is going to continue. But yeah, I don't know what else. I've got ideas, but I don't know if they're going to be strong ideas. But yeah, that's about it really at the moment. But yeah, tomorrow we got the must play PS2 Hidden Gems video, so look forward to that one. Soph says, would you ever like to see a Critters game? I wouldn't be gagging for it, so to speak. I wouldn't know what they would do with it. The problem with making a horror franchise into a game is that every person and their nan is making asymmetric multiplayer games where you've got one singular antagonist versus a group of players. So you've got what's the fucking game? Dead by Daylight. Is it Dead by Daylight? Is that the game? I've forgotten. I'm sure that's what it's called. You've got Dead by Daylight, which is the big popular one at the moment. You had the Friday the 13th game, which is now dead, unfortunately. You had the Evil Dead game, which I think is also dead. So you've got these games based on horror that literally are all the same kind of game. So I wouldn't want that in a Critters game, but I would want it where you obviously play as the Krites, because that'd be sick. But I wouldn't know what they could do with it, to be honest, unless you play as the bounty hunters, and it almost plays like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you get like monsters to go and hunt, and then obviously like you come across Krites during your missions and stuff. That'd be quite cool. Play as Argon Lee, those two bondage badasses from outer space. Jody King asks, what game or franchise do you think is the most underrated? Franchise, I'm going to shout out Onimusha, because I adore it, and I don't think enough people really remember that series. Big Capcom series of the day. It's literally like Resident Evil, but you're a samurai and you're fighting demons, and they're bloody got a new game coming. I'm really excited about it. Like, they announced it a few before Christmas, a few weeks ago before Christmas, and yeah, I'm so hyped. The only thing about this new Onimusha I don't want it to be a Souls-like, because I think it just ruined my hype for it. It just ruined it for me. Like, I like Souls-likes a lot. Elden Ring, Dark Souls, love those games. Bloodborne's probably my favorite out of the bunch. But this new Onimusha, I don't want it to be a Souls-like. Not everything set, in feudal Japan or medieval times or fantastical times. If you've got a sword and magic, it doesn't have to be a Souls-like, guys. It could be a fun, narrative-focused hack and slash adventure. And I'm hoping they stick to the old games in terms of its inspiration and how it plays, because yeah, I just don't want it to be a Souls-like. But yeah, underrated franchises, definitely on the Musha series. I absolutely adore them. Underrated singular game. If I was going to pick out a singular game that's super underrated, it's a James Bond-esque first-person shooter called Cold Winter. It's not a Bond game. Excuse me. It's not a Bond game, but it's like a secret agent game, and it's super violent and it's super fun. The gunplay is well fun. So if you've got a PS2 and you want something to play that's really fun, Cold Winter is really good. And also, check out the Onimusha series. Those would be my picks for a singular game and then a franchise. Great question. Appreciate that. Thank you. Richard Head asks, what is your favourite Mario game? I've got two. One is technically not a Mario game, but it comes under a Mario title. And the second one is a mainline Mario. I'm going to go with the oddball, the wildcard one. It would be Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. It's my favourite platformer of all time. I adore it. It's amazing. But like I said, it's not technically a Mario game. It's a Yoshi game. So that's the wildcard one. That's the one that's like, is it, isn't it? We don't know. The mainline, my favourite mainline Mario is Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I adore that game. I could play it over and over. It's so good. I love the planetary mechanics, how you unlock different worlds in the galaxy. I think that game is amazing. It's one of those games where the Wii remote controls are not frustrating. They're only there when it's necessary. The whole game can be played like a traditional game. It's awesome. I love it. Those are mine. Great question. Thanks for that. Donald says, I designed a really bad Crits game when I had a ZX Spectrum. It got a mention in your Sinclair magazine. That's cool. That's really cool, actually. You should get people to put out a homebrew of that and have it actually running on a ZX Spectrum. How cool would that be? People are doing it these days. You're getting new games for all the kind of old consoles. Sean says, nostalgia is fine as long as you don't kid yourself into thinking something is good just because you liked it as a kid. If you admit its quality and say, I still enjoy it, that's fine. Yeah, I remember a comment someone said in a video, like a video game video, and they were like, I liked it as a kid, but what did I know? I was a fucking kid. Like, you didn't know any better as a kid. You'd play anything just because you got, I remember getting new games that were bad, but I'd play the shit out of them because I had nothing else to play. So yeah, I definitely get what you're saying there. But there are games that hold up really well that are really old. I used like Pac-Man as an example. It's a quintessential arcade game. I could play that for days. Awesome. Metal Gear Solid, like I said, that holds up really well. It's awesome. Yorkie says, I'm a PS1 collector. I have just under 800 games. It's introduced me to tons of games I had no idea about. Do you have any favourite PS1? I guess that means I should say gems there that aren't the usual. Resi, Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, Crash, Spyro. Any favourite PS1 games that aren't the usual? Not really, if I'm honest. Mostly it's the usual: Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Dino Crisis. I'm trying to think of one that's not your usual fare because I'm trying to think what I've got in my collection, but I should kind of ignore my collection because it's mostly all the well-known stuff. Trying to think. I mean, Pandemonium's a good one. Good little platformer for the PS1. If you've got 800 games, you must have Pandemonium. And its sequel, Pandemonium 2 as well. They're quite good little platformers. Other ones. Jason, Brain, Work, please. PS1. I was like 12. I was about 10 when I got my PS1, so I had a good few years with it. I should know what other games. Die Hard Trilogy, one of my favourites. Still holds up quite well, actually, Die Hard Trilogy. Love that one. Yeah, I'd say Pandemonium and Die Hard Trilogy are two really good ones. Time Crisis is a good light gun shooter as well. Yeah, I'll go for those. Die Hard Trilogy, Time Crisis, and Pandemonium. Yeah, I like to think they're not your usual kind of favourites people always bring up. Great question, though. Great question. Donald says, also, you can't make a 5-minute one-note dirge-a-thon and force 5 band members to dance to it on Metal Gear Solid. I don't understand this question. I don't understand this comment at all, Donald. Is this like an in-joke with someone? A boy band and Metal Gear. I don't. I'm stupid, right? So please explain this fucking stupid joke or something. Oh God. James says, best organizational tips for game systems and collectibles. I'm the worst for this question because my collection is literally on across 2 shelves in a conservatory where I cannot control the temperature. So literally, I've got 2 shelves for my retro collection, and they're in alphabetical order. That's it. So yeah, I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst person to ask these questions. If they're really like super rare collectibles, I would, if I had the space, I would have stuff in like proper like glass cabinets personally if I had the space, but I don't. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I like alphabetical order. If I had platinum, say like PS2, you have platinum PS2 and regular black label. I would usually have the platinum in their own section. They wouldn't be mixed in with the. I've seen collectors on YouTube where they'll have platinum games mixed in with black label, and it winds me up. My OCD hates it. So if I would have like a mix of platinum and black label, they would have their own sections. Like here's the platinum and PS2 games in their own section because I like uniformity personally because I've got OCD that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I would go for is alphabetical order. Keep things nice and neat in the kind of like black label to one section, platinum. I'm rambling, so I'm the worst for this because the way my current collection is set up is very not optimal because it's in a conservatory on shelves where it's literally -4 out there at the moment. So I don't know how that's doing for my collection, but I can't do nothing else. It's the only space I've got, unfortunately. Space is a premium, as they say, guys. Who's next? Yorkie said, I have a channel. I'm filming my attempt to collect the full UK PAL set of PS games. That's awesome. And I've got, if I tried a full set of anything, I don't have the space for that at all. Now, when you say full UK PAL set, is it strictly black label or are you going to get the platinum variants as well? Because that'd be interesting because they're 2 different SKUs, aren't they? So that'd be cool. Let me know if you're going to ever divide it up like that because that means you're almost getting the collection kind of twice. I know there's not as many platinum games, but that'd be interesting to see if you're going to get the platinum ones as well because it's a different SKU, so you might have to, right? I'm not putting things in your mind. Don't listen to me. Soph asks, what was the Scottish one I watched you play, which was like the thing? Oh, what was that? Oh, it was on Xbox. Something the Deep. I forget what it's called, but it was like a first-person horror game, similar to like Outlast, but it was very inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing. And it was pretty awesome. The voice acting was top tier, really good. I think it was like Still Wakes the Deep. I think that's what it was called. Still Wakes the Deep. Guys, if you've got Xbox Game Pass, there's a game called Still Wakes the Deep on Game Pass, and it's literally a first-person horror game set on a Scottish oil rig, and it's amazing. Voice acting is on point. The scares are on point. If you like The Thing, it's very much The Thing. I recommend that one. It's good. Good shout, Soph. I like that a lot, actually. That was good. Daniel Sanford said, I feel exactly the same about Monster Hunter. Thank you for answering my question. No problem, man. Thank you for sticking with us at the stream. My first ever stream, and I'm just rambling like a weirdo. Don says, yeah, Still Wakes the Deep. It's awesome. Loved it. It's literally The Thing on an oil rig. It's so cool. Where are we going? Any more people? Oh, okay, that's the comment I missed. Yeah, so Soph played Last of Us Parts 1 and Part 2 back to back, and she loved them, and she got a tattoo from The Last of Us, which is pretty cool. What? I just got kicked out of the video, and it turned into an old match between Judd Trump and I don't know what you're. I don't know what you're trying to say there. I'm so confused. Sean Sheridan says, You own every PlayStation and Xbox console game stream. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Like you're going to say the playing games on the channel will do well. I'm not sure. Can you elaborate on that, please, Sean? I'm not sure what you're exactly saying there because I'm fucking stupid and I can't read. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining the stream. Retrohead says, "Oh yeah, Mario Galaxy was awesome. I love that game so much. I can't express how much I love Mario Galaxy. Fun fact though, I've never played Mario Galaxy 2. I've never played it. I need to get it for my collection, but I've never played it before. But it's weird because I love the first one so much." Lou says, Ghost Hunter, the game for PS2 is now available for PS5. Have you played it? And if you did, what did you think about it? I picked it up recently on PS2, actually, funny enough, a few weeks ago before Christmas. I think I had it in a pickups video, Project PS2 video. Really fun game. It's like Resident Evil survival horror, but it's almost like Ghostbusters. It's weird. It's a weird one, but it's pretty fun. I recommend people, if you've got PlayStation Plus Premium in particular, because that's when you can download that Ghost Hunter game. Give Ghost Hunter a go because it's like a survival horror, but you've got similar things to like Ghostbusters because you've got a gun that shoots plasma. You've got a trap that traps them, but this you throw a disc at them and it opens up and it traps them. Very Ghostbusters. Really cool game. Good shout, Lou. Really good shout. Jody King says, I recently bought an OLED Switch. I'm going full digital with SD cards on this. Enjoying not having to worry about space. Still PS2, PS3, and PS4 collecting though. And funny enough, I just sold my OLED Switch because the physical games are way too expensive, and I just never played it. To be honest, just sold mine. Never played it. Yeah, I find if because I don't know whether I'll get the Switch 2 when it gets announced. It depends what it kind of brings to the table because I've got a feeling it's just going to be an iteration of what has already come before. But if that did come out and it's got the power of the modern consoles, which I doubt it will, but I'm hoping it will because it'll give me more of an incentive to buy it. Yeah, I think digital is the way to go with the Switch. I think just get a massive SD card with shit tons of space on, like a terabyte SD card, and just go nuts. But yeah, I'm the same. Physical PS2, PS3, PS4, 100%. Soph says, I think she's referring to the Still Wakes the Deep is set in the 40s. Perhaps I can't remember when it was set actually. James Marks, welcome to the stream. Appreciate joining. I recently played Golden Axe Beast Rider, but found it a chore to finish. What was the last game that you found difficult to finish, even if you loved the franchise? Devil May Cry 4 would be one because it recycles bosses and recycles the same levels, but you're just playing Dante the second half of the game. I found it quite tiresome and quite like, all right, this is getting a bit old now. I've fought this boss 3 times already. Like, you have like 5 bosses in the game, but you've got to fight them all 3 times each. You've got 15 boss fights, but they're all the same bosses. And it was just like, I just want this game to be over. Because that game was bad. I had very little memories of Devil May Cry 4, but going back to play it, I'm just like, this game's awful. Like the first half is okay because you're introduced to Nero and the level design's pretty interesting. But once you get halfway through that game, you change over to Dante. You're doing those same missions again, but they've got gimmicks. So like, one level will be like, this demon has made access to the building a bit difficult because he's frozen everything. So you've got to navigate through the same building that you were doing in the earliest part of the game, but now only certain doors are accessible. And to actually be able to open up where you need to go, you've got to find the boss and kill it, which you've already fought that boss twice before. It's really bad. But yeah, that game was a chore to finish. Speaking of Devil May Cry as well, Devil May Cry 2 I just gave up on because it's one of the worst games ever made. Just hold square, shoot everything till it dies. Yeah, I've already gone on about Devil May Cry 2 earlier on at the beginning of the stream, but bad game. But yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from with Golden Axe Beast Rider. I do like that game quite a lot. It's one of my favorite bad games, but I can see why you find it a bit frustrating, a bit of a chore to finish. Cool question. Thanks, James. Retrohead says, loving the live stream. Wish I had the confidence to do one on my channel. Do it, man. Just yeah, I've been, how long have I been on for? Where's my timer? I've been on for an hour, bang on, right? And I'm still shitting my pants. So you should try it. You should do it. It'd be good. It'll be good. Do it. Do it. Do it. So says also you should show the art print I got you for Christmas. I mean, I could do. It's only down here, but so for Christmas, I've got me this for Christmas. It's called it like minimalist Resident Evil artwork because Resident Evil is my favorite gaming franchise ever. It's quite sick, actually. Yeah, I declare though. Yeah, it's pretty cool. 1 second, guys. I'm losing energy. I haven't been eating either before this stream. Actually, I lied. I did eat. I tried a vindaloo, and it was so hot that I couldn't eat all of it. It was like, I love my hot stuff. I love curries, but this vindaloo, guys, right? I got it from Iceland, and it was like literally no flavor, just pure fire. And I was like, nah, I can't eat this. It's too much for me. Donald says, nostalgia is tricky because we had less choice as kids. You'd have one game and you have to learn to love it or trade it in for another one. Nowadays, we're spoiled for choice. I remember going through a phase where I would rent games when I was a teenager because Blockbuster was still a thing when I was a teenager, and they were doing like game rentals. So I think it was when the PS3 and Xbox 360 was out, I would rent the newer games because I couldn't afford to, buy the games. So I do a lot of renting back then. I used to have a thing called Love Film. Do you remember Love Film? I think Amazon bought them in the end. Excuse me. Amazon bought them in the end. You used to be able to go on the website, check off what kind of things you're looking for, like movie genres, but they also did games. You could just tick off what games you'd like to rent. You would get games a lot less often than movies, of course. But I remember having a bunch of games that I would rent that was given. And they wouldn't have any late fees, so I could just rent a game for the rental period and just send it back. Like I had that X-Men Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine game, which is awesome. I rented it for PS3 from Love Film. Absolutely rinsed that one. It's a God of War-esque, violent, super violent game, but it's like Wolverine. That was cool. Yeah, I did a lot of renting as a young adult before Blockbuster went kaput, unfortunately. And we used to have a shop near me that did renting as well on PS1. I'm talking about when I was like younger, like 10, 12 years old. Used to be able to rent PS1 games. I remember that's how I discovered the very first Tenchu game. We rented it. I think it was like a $5 for like 4 nights or something. And we rented that. That was fun. Tenchu. That's a forgotten shit. From Software need to bring Tenchu back. That's a sick series. I love Tenchu. They need to remake the first one. Don't make it Dark Souls, though. From Software, just bring out an awesome stealth Tenchu game. Thanks. Yorkie says, if you like survival horror games like the PS1 era Resi games, I advise everyone to play Martian Gothic. It's so good and has a unique twist to the usual survival horror tropes. You know what? I almost bought that game because I watched a video of it and I was like, I want to play that. But the video wasn't particularly kind to it. It says it's got a load of like weird kind of like it doesn't really spell out what you have to do. So it's a bit archaic in terms of its puzzle solving. And some things just don't make sense in its puzzles. Like it's like, how the fuck are you meant to figure that out? Like the guy was saying that to actually play the game and finish it, you would need a strategy guide to actually finish it because he goes, no normal person playing this game would ever figure out the puzzles because they're so archaic and weird and don't make sense. So yeah, I almost bought that one. Maybe I still will. Maybe I'll add it to the collection. PS1, I think it's on, right? Yeah, you said PS1 era, yeah. I'll look out for that one, Yorkie. Thank you very much. Even though it might be really difficult, but oh well. If I can play all the other Resident Evils, I'm sure I can figure that game out. All right, okay. Donald says the boy band comment was Popstar Maker versus Metal Gear Solid for the best PS1 game. Fair. Okay then. I mean, I bet there's like some guys made Snake do a 5-minute dance off in Metal Gear Solid. Probably wouldn't put it past anyone these days to have a mod like that. Nomad Lone Star in the comments. Thanks for joining the stream. What was the very first video game you ever played? Mine was Alex. Yeah, that right. What you just said. It was mine. Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I had Master System Model 2 was my first games console. So your comment is my answer. Basically, yeah, because Alex Kidd in Miracle World was built into the Master System. But yeah, when it comes, I'm going to say my first 2 video games I ever played. So Alex Kidd in Miracle World, because it was built into the machine, and the Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's why Sonic the Hedgehog on Master System is the best Sonic the Hedgehog, because it's awesome. I mean, yeah, people are going to say no, but they're wrong. 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog for the win, guys. Master System Sonic the Hedgehog. We've got my friend Jamie Powell in. Jamie, welcome to the stream. Thanks so much, my friend. Good evening, Squire. Hope you are well. Keep up the amazing work. Which console do you feel, out of all consoles, has the most consistent quality games? Man, that's a loaded question. I'm going to be biased and probably say PS2, because I'm always finding stuff on PS2 that's quality, and obviously the library is massive. 360s, like my 2 favorite consoles are PS2 and 360, so it's very hard to pick one console. But it might have to be PS2. As boring as that answer is to a lot of people, it might have to be PS2. Maybe the Wii. I see, revisiting the Wii last year. That's really been a big eye opener how good that system is and how many great games are on that system. I'm going to stick with PS2 for now, because I feel like I'm always discovering new stuff on that system. As I'm collecting games. So, yeah, PS2. Great question, though. That's an awesome question. Yorkie's replying to my previous answer. Black Label only. All games must be fully complete with manuals. No platinums ever. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Excuse me. That's kind of my thing. Where with PS2, I'm not going after every PS2 game, but I've got like a list of games I had as a kid. Whether they're bad or good is irrelevant. I want them because they make me think of my childhood. But it's kind of the thing of like, I can't have platinums. I've got to have Black Label. So that's why Silent Hill 2 on PS2 is eluding me bad. And the longer it eludes me, the more money it's going to cost. And it's really frustrating because it might be my favorite game on PS2 and it's really pissing me off that I can't get it. Anyway, I got the remake, ironically. I've got the remake, but I don't have the fucking original. So annoying. Scotty's Movies in the chat. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate it. Hi, Jason. Where is the cutoff between retro and current consoles in your opinion? I consider PS3 retro now. See, now this is a great question. I'm going to go right full hog into this thing, because it also is going to present questions to you guys in the chat. So I've always considered it to be 20 years since the console, but you could have a little drop down menu and go, yeah, but is it 20 years from the console's launch or from when the next generation starts? So, for example, the Xbox 360 it launched in 2005 and it died pretty much. It was succeeded in 2013. So, is it 20 years from 2013 that makes it retro, or 20 years from 2005? So, it's 2025 this year. So, if you're looking at it from 20 years since launch, it's now retro, in my opinion. But if you were looking at it from it's only retro 20 years after it succeeded, which would be 2013, it's still got a little ways to go, right? So I think it's just different strokes for different folks, I suppose is the term, right? And I feel as well the term retro is different from being old, right? So stuff like the Sega Master System and the original PlayStation, they're retro to me because I was very young when I had those. I was between 5 and 10 years old, right? They're retro. But when I go back even further, like to say Atari 2600, That's not retro. That's just old to me. So I think there's so many different ways you can cut this question into how you would answer it. But yeah, see, PS3 is interesting because PS3 came out in 2006. So in my mind, it's not retro until next year, 2026. But I can understand why people see it as retro because we've had 2 generations since. So maybe that's another layer. Is it how many generations of consoles should there be afterwards that makes it retro? Just like 360, we've had two generations after 360, retro. 2 generations after PS3, retro. So yeah, I kind of see it's a layered question. My answer's been all over the shop, but I do think it just depends on the person. But like I said, retro doesn't mean old. Kind of does. It sort of does mean old, but it's when I think the word retro, it's retrospect, right? It's retroactive. So it's like, but I kind of when I think retro, I also affix fun with that word. So if something's retro, it's old, but it's fun. That's why I don't consider Atari 2600 retro, because it's just old. I don't find anything fun with that set of games, that console. It's just too old for me, right? It's too old. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think, because that's a big question, and people are going to have all different answers. And there's no wrong answer, is there, guys? Whatever you consider to be retro is retro to you. We're all going to have different answers to that. Still Wakes the Deep is in the 70s. It might be, yeah, it might be. Don says PS3, 360, Wii is definitely retro now. Yeah, I think I'm in agreements with that, because it's been 2 generations of consoles since, so it makes sense, right? Where are we going? People are saying hello to each other. So says you're smashing the live. Very proud. Thank you. So professional. Who, me? I hope so. I'm just a crazy person. Yorkie says, "Isn't Love Film now on Netflix?" No, I for some reason I've got a feeling that Amazon bought them, and it basically become Amazon Prime. I could be wrong, but I have no motivation to Wikipedia it right now or Google it, whatever you say. Jody King says, "Just went off the live and bought Golden Axe Beast Rider." It's such a fun game. It's such a fun game, man. It's bad, but it's fun. It's one of my favorite bad games ever. Like, I love it. Have you played a Record of Lodoss War? I don't think I know what that game is, if I'm honest with you, James. Played it last year on PS4. Yeah, I don't think I've played that one. Let me know what it is, what kind of game it is. That's very kind, Jody. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Great first live. I'm not even playing the games. I'm just chatting to the camera like a twat. Angry Retro Gamer. Have you ever considered using free MC Boot or free HD Boot soft mod to play PS2 games? Now, funny enough, you bring up free McBoot, because there's a YouTuber called Dan the Games Man that I watch. I think he's pretty good. He's got an insanely crazy good collection, and he's always hunting for shit. And I think last year in the summer he went to a boot sale, a car boot, and there was this guy selling these reproduction games of some of the most expensive PS2 games that you could get, like Rule of Rose, and I forget the others. Some of the, I think one of them was like one of the Silent Hill games, and some really expensive stuff. A game called Kuno or Kuro, like a horror game called Kuno, I think it was called. There was maybe 4 or 5 games, some of the most expensive games you could ever buy for PS2 in the second-hand market. You're talking like $2,000 easy, right? And they're all reproductions with the cover arts all made up. It looks really, really, really good. And they were $5 each, and he gave Dan a memory card that had McBoot on it, so he was able to basically just play, I guess, burnt games is what he was able to play. And if I was able to get a reproduction PS2 game of some of the most expensive stuff and just have free McBoot to play it, I wouldn't care that I didn't have the original game because earlier on I talked about I'm really frustrated because I want the original Silent Hill 2 in my collection. Oh, half of me is like I want it in the collection because it's my favorite PS2 game, but the other half of me is like I just want to play this game. And I'm not really one for emulation, so I'd rather get the game on disc to play it on the original hardware. I'm a bit of a snob like that. Snobby bastard. That's me. That's a great question, and I have considered it, but I don't really know too much about it to understand the ins and outs of it, to where to go, how to get it, what to do. I'm not really super technically savvy, I guess is the word. Great question though. Appreciate it. Nomad Lone Star says, not so much a question, but one of the benefits of most games not having manuals these days, it's so much easier to buy them pre-owned. None of that worry or whether it comes with a manual or not. Yeah, I find that like with these ones down here. Actually, like saying that, the one I think the only thing different is I think we're talking 2013 Xbox One. Oh no. Actually, ignore that. I thought it came with a manual, but it didn't. It's just a bit of card. I'm sure one of these came with a manual. Maybe not. No, I must have been dreaming. Must have been dreaming. Right, gonna have a bit of a pause because I've got a live parcel opening to open on stream. Because why not? Why not do it? I know what this is, and I'm quite excited because I've never played this game, and it's part of a series that I love. So let's get into this bastard. I'm lazy. I'm just going to cut it right open and go straight in there. Oh, yes. Oh, it's actually in pretty... I'm just going to have an inspection quick. Oh, cool. It's got the demo with it as well. Nice. Oh, that's in mint. Not mint, but it's in very nice condition. So I did a video a little while ago where I completed this subset. And I didn't think this game was part of the series, but apparently internally at Namco, it is known as the third game in the series. And that is a game called Ridge Racer. Never played this one. Big Ridge Racer fan. I love the Ridge Racer series. Ridge Racer Type 4 is one of my favorite racing games ever. But I remember I put up a thing in that video. I said, I've completed the subset. I've got Ridge Racer Revolution, Ridge Racer Type 4, Ridge Racer 5. I think I've got Ridge Racer Unbounded. I don't have Ridge Racer 6. I think I've got Ridge Racer 7. I've almost completed the set. But I was claiming that, I've got the PS1 set, but apparently Ridge Racer was the third game in that series, but under a different name. Very strange, but this is a very, very clean condition with the manual. Comes with the demo as well. What's the demo for? It's a Namco demo, so it could be anything on there. Interesting. I'm more excited for the demo. But yeah, classic Ridge Racer artwork. I wonder why they called it Rage Racer. Yorkie, you're the PS1 aficionado. Do you know anything about this one and why it's not called Ridge Racer 3? Maybe you might have information I don't. But yeah, really happy to get this one for the collection. It's in absolutely wonderful condition as well. I'm so happy the hinges aren't broken. The amount of games I bought at the London gaming market last year that had fucking broken hinges, because what they'll do, they'll have them in like these plastic sleeves so you can't look at them. And you get them home and you open them and just like broken hinges, bastards. But yeah, this one is actually in nice, shiny condition. That's Ridge Racer. Pretty happy to get that. Let me know if you guys played that before. Let me know what it's like because it's the one Ridge Racer game I've not played. Right, James Pitt. Did I skip that question? Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah, okay. James says at this point I have such a sick backlog, but that doesn't keep me from buying more stuff. I like alternating between modern games and older games. I think 360 PS3 is retro cutoff. Yeah, I think anything after PS3 and Xbox 360 is not considered. I think that's where modern begins, right? Yeah, I think I've got shitloads of games I've not played that I still own, like loads. I'm a bit weird because I have loads of games that I know will take me hours and hours to finish, so it'll put me off playing them. So it's like, at the moment I'm playing the Devil May Cry series because I know that they're pretty straightforward, straight through, a straight line, essentially, like linear games. So I've been able to smash through those quite quickly, except for 2, because 2 is shit. I've got the first Devil May Cry game to play next. That's good killer. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like the backlog is ridiculous. But it's like I just feel like you've got to be in the mood for a certain kind of game. And I remember, yeah, I feel like if you play a game in a certain genre that you play all the way through and you fucking adore it, right? If from my perspective, if I do that, if I play a game from a certain genre, could be RPG, could be RTS, could be anything, right? Platformer, you fucking adore it all the way through. I immediately want to play a game in the same genre again. So I'll go on the hunt for a game I've not played in that same genre. So it keeps me away from my backlog. It's really bad. I was like it. I remember I got my PS5 and I played God of War 2018 for the first time. One of my favourite games ever, one of the best PlayStation games ever. And I wanted to find a game that was like that, but I couldn't find nothing because there's nothing quite like God of War, unfortunately. Soap says, I'm waiting for House Flipper 2 to go super cheap. I'm surprised it hasn't come on Game Pass, to be fair, because the first game's on Game Pass. I'm really surprised it isn't. Maybe it will eventually, right? Let's hope. Lou says, awesome live, Jason. I had to drive out, but it's been an awesome journey so far with your movie videos and video game videos. Appreciate your support, Lou. You probably won't see anything on the movie channel going forward, but obviously this channel is where I'm going to be sticking and putting all my efforts into. But I appreciate the support, man. Take care. Have a good rest of your week. James Mark says, record of Lodless War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. Metroidvania game. Really cool. I can't copy these. I can't even copy. Let's while we're on live, I'm just going to go on the CX website and look that up quickly. Obviously, you won't be able to see me look it up, but we will do it. Record of Lodos War. Record of Lodos War. Give me the game now, you slag. £25. The problem is, right, it's out of stock. Typical. It's typical. It's literally out of stock. I actually can't believe it's out of stock. But I will say, what kind of Metroidvania is it? Is it kind of similar to like Castlevania or Dead Cells? I love Dead Cells. So if it's anything like Dead Cells, I'm on board. The only thing I can't deal with is turn-based combat. So that could be a no-no for me, unfortunately. So says, going to head off, my love. Shall catch you later. Thank you for joining the stream. I will see you soon. We got Boba Fett in the chat. Welcome to the stream. Thoughts on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I've not seen it, so I can't say anything on that, unfortunately. We've got my friend James, Jim Jam. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining, my friend. I really do. That's awesome. Donald says, do you think there should be quality? We'll try that again, guys. Do you think there should be quality control on online stores? I get so frustrated looking for something to buy when they pop sales on, and as they tend to be full of mobile slop. Yeah, I get that all the time. I go onto like Xbox sale, or I go onto the PlayStation 5 sale, and like I usually go like lowest price, ascending. So it'd be like the cheapest thing going into the more expensive thing. And I feel like, oh man, it's like just utter just toss for like ages, from the top of the list all the way down. And I'm just like, who fucking approves this nonsense? And it's just like, I just feel like these people, they'll buy Unity, they throw a bunch of assets together and go, there's my game, I'm gonna put it on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, put it on the PlayStation Store. I want £50. Oh, no one's buying it. Oh, I better put it down for like £2. Yeah, there we go. £2. My game is up there. Go and buy my game. And we don't care. Right? We don't. It's just utter shit. There's so much rubbish on there. There is utter rubbish on the storefronts, right? Absolutely just flooded with utter shit. And that's the problem. You get these quality indie titles that are already buried by the AAA stuff, but now they're already buried even more. But all this utter just Unity asset flip bollocks. I totally get it. I think there should be. I think there should be like the idea, the whole notion that a game like The Day After, if you really can call it a game, made its way on to being the most wishlisted game on Steam and ended up being the biggest video game scam of like last year. It's redonkulous, right? That game literally lasted what, 2 days? It was shut down. Like I think it was up for like 2 or 4, maybe 4 days. 4 days it was up on for sale or online. It was up there for 4 days and it was pulled immediately because it was a scam. It was utter fucking nonsense, right? And it's a shame because you there's probably a bunch of really great developers, you know, maybe like sometimes it's just one person developers making absolute bangers that get completely forgotten about because you've got these utter scammers on these sites peddling shit and they're getting all the attention. It's fucking utter shit. It really is. It boggles my mind. Jody says, going to head off. Great live. Thank you so much, Jody, for joining the stream. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Have a good rest of your week, man. Jim Jam says, or asks, what is your favourite game based on a movie? Now I've got to remember about now. See, the whole thing of movie-based video games is not so prevalent these days. So I'm trying to think of games that I like from back in the day that were movie-based. X-Men Origins Wolverine I've already spoken about. That's a great game based on movies, on the movie. It's awesome. It's really, really cool. Very violent. It's the Wolverine game you'd want because it's super violent as well. So it's really fun just to hack people up and be super like nasty about it. I'm trying to think of other games based on movies. There is a game that no one liked when it came out, and now it's one of the most expensive PS4 games out there, which is the Godzilla game. I'm a massive Godzilla fan, and that game, for Godzilla fans, sorry, for Godzilla fans, it was bang on. They got the feel of Godzilla right. He felt just heavy and colossal. And when you fight stuff, you feel powerful. Your atomic breath feels awesome. But that game didn't do very well. It sold terribly. No one liked it, a bit apart from me, of course. And it's like the most expensive PS4 game. I think it's like 200 quid at the moment on PS4. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know what other ones that I say that's based on a movie. I'm just trying to think. GoldenEye comes to mind on the N64. That's a great game. Brain, please work. Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. GoldenEye, X-Men Wolverine, and maybe the other game that I said, the Godzilla game. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't think of anything, but they're my picks. I probably missed some big ones that I should have said, but my brain doesn't work when I want it to. Donald says they'll have games with 90% off, reduced to 79p. Like anyone would ever pay good money for it anyway. It makes me wonder why Sony and Microsoft don't have an indie section. I think it's Donald. I think they do. It's just buried, right? I'm sure Xbox in particular have a indie kind of program, but it's just buried in the store under all this fucking toss. That's what I think. Not to be so negative about it, but there we go. Jim says, is there going to be another CEX challenge video with a budget? Now, I did one on the channel, which was quite cool, but I'm trying to stop myself buying utter just nonsense fodder. Because I'm trying to like make sure I've got money to really kind of grab the games I really want when they pop up in CEX, for example. So I'm trying not to like spend my money, what's the word? I don't know the word I'm using. I don't want to spend my money on stuff for the sake of it just to make a video. I mean, that'd be a cool video. Like my last video did pretty well, CX challenge video. But I don't think it's much of a challenge these days because it's very easy to keep in budget, to not buy doubles, to not buy sports titles, and to get some fairly decent games for the money. I don't think it's challenging at all. So calling that a challenge these days isn't much, really, in my opinion. And I feel like if I did it, it was just for the sake of a video, and I don't think that's fun. I think it kind of undermines my collection at that point. So I have gotten rid of a lot of the kind of games that I've done that with, right? And I'm happier for it. My collection feels stronger because the whole point of this channel was I'm buying games that I remember having and remember playing as a child growing up with video games. And I think I've been quite successful with that because my collection literally, you can see my taste in games with my collection. You can see what I kind of had growing up. And that's the whole goal of it. And I think doing this challenge thing, I'll just be buying old crap, and I just don't want that anymore for the collection. But yeah, I'm glad like you like those videos, but I don't think I'll be doing them again if I'm honest. Daniel Sanford said, trash games have become a real problem when they are connected to easy platinum trophies. It's an absolute disgrace. There's a really good game that I highly recommend. Oh, this goes back to the movie question. The best movie based games. Terminator Resistance. That's a great game based on the Terminator franchise, but it's also an easy platinum. Because I haven't got it on PS5, I've got it on Xbox Series X, and I got 100% trophies really like on my first playthrough. So that's an easy platinum, but it's a great game. And to go back to James's comment, Jim Jam, favorite movie based video game, it might be Terminator Resistance. Actually, come to think of it, it's an awesome game. He's put this question twice. Sorry, Jim Jam says, "What was the first console you ever owned?" I was about 5 or 6. It was a Sega Master System Model 2, and it came with Alex the Kid in Miracle World built in, and Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, I'm a massive Sonic the Hedgehog fan since I was like 5. So I'm very forgiving on the bad Sonic the Hedgehog games because I love Sonic so much, and I love the movies as well. The movies are great. Nomad Lone Star asks, what was the very game or console that made you go, yep, I want to start retro game collecting? I forget what. That's very hard to. I can't remember, but it was a case of like, I think I bought a PS2, the one I still have now. Like I made like 2 years ago, like just over it. So I started my channel in July 2023. I think it might have been like a month before then, before I decided to do the channel. It was all like, oh, I want to start collecting for PS2. Maybe think about games that I grew up with because I've got, getting some of the games with it. I was like, oh yeah, this game was so good. I started getting really fun memories about it. And I was like, actually, I would like to chronicle this as a channel. And that's where that kind of came from. But yeah, I think it was just me buying a PS2 again and just getting floods of memories with it. And I was just like, this is so cool. I just want to think about get other consoles that I remember as a kid playing and stuff and getting games because it just gave me like so much warmth there. And that's when it also obviously led me to start this channel as well. Just going to take a sip of water, guys. My throat is dying. Just gone over an hour and a half. I don't think I'll be on for much longer, guys, because my throat is dead, and also I need to get some food. Just a heads up there. What is your least favorite genre of game? Brain, think. I'm trying to think of all the genres now. I can't think of anything. Least favorite genre of game, probably the craft, like survival crafting. I can't get on with those. Anything like survival where you've got to keep an eye on your thirst meter and your hunger meter, and you've got to craft a fire, and you've got to craft some clothes to keep you warm. Fuck that shit. I can't be bothered with that stuff. I just want to get into a game, understand the mechanics immediately, and just enjoy myself. You know, I'm too old to fuck around with like, you're thirsty, you better find some water to drink. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're hungry, you got to hunt a deer to eat it. You can't eat the deer, you've got to get a fire and build it and cook the meat. Oh, you've cooked it too much, now it's ruined. Yeah. Survival craftiness. Fuck that shit. Like, I don't like them at all. Yeah. James P says, anyone ever played X2 Wolverine game? I also love Origins and hope Insomniacs doesn't shit the bed with the PS5 title. Yeah, I played loads of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I do have nostalgia for the X2 game. I do have it for GameCube, but I've not actually revisited it yet. So that might be a game for me to check out soon, maybe. But yeah, I do remember it. I do have fairly kind of a bit of nostalgia for that game. It's almost like Origins before Origins, right? It was like the good X-Men game before Origins came out. But yeah, I need to revisit it though. But I do have quite a lot of nostalgia for that one. Nomad Lone Star says, "What was the very game or console that made you go? Oh, I swear I've read this comment. Yeah, I've answered this. Surely, I think I've asked that already. Was it up here? I'm sure I've just answered that question. Oh well. Angry Retro Gamer says, asks, Enter the Matrix on PS2. Is it a good movie game? Have you played that? I like it for its jankiness. It's very rough around the edges, that game, but I think it delivers a quite authentic Matrix experience. You know, you can kung fu fight, you can go into bullet time and dodge bullets and dive and shoot people while, you know, in slow motion. I think it's fine, but go into it knowing that it is quite broken and jank in places. But I do like that one. I would say it's bad, but it's a good bad. And if you refer back to my best bad games video, it's in there. You know, spoilers. Birdie Love, welcome to the stream. I love Mad Max on PS4. It's a great game. The only thing with that game that kind of irks me a bit is I felt like I know it's set in this post-apocalyptic world, and you got to, like, you know, upgrade your car, and it's all about the vehicle combat. I found the actual mission structure to be a bit too much busy work for me, so I never finished it. It's a great game. I can jump on there and play it and have fun, but trying to finish the game was a bit of a chore for me. A bit too much busy work. Donald Mackerel says, or Donald, sorry, says, such a full name then, my bad. For movie games, my favourite was the Terminator for the Sega Master System. Even though it's bloody awful trying to play it now, Platoon on the Specky was decent. I've got the Terminator for the Sega Master System, and yes, it's not very good, but I've got loads of nostalgia for it. So, and I remember it being rock hard. I remember the first level being super difficult as well. Like, I remember, like, barely getting to the past because the future opens up in the future, and you've got Carl Reese trying to get to the times displacement equipment, and I remember the first level just being absolutely rock hard. Jim Jam says, I remember my first console being the Master System 2 with Alex the Kid built in. Yeah, that was mine. Match, snap. Birdie Love says, King Kong for PS2 was a great banger of a movie-based game. That's a great shout, man. That's such a good game. I can get the PS2 versions fairly cheaply, but I do want to get it on 360 because I feel like I think it's probably gonna be a better version. But yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a great shout. Great shout. Great movie based game. I need to do a video about movie based games now. I'm gonna have to, right? It's gonna have to be on the docket. Jim Jam says, remember the Game Gear as well from memory. Battery didn't last long. Yeah, I think I didn't have any handhelds as a kid, so I remember people that had Game Boys and they had, not very few of my friends had a Game Gear. I think my cousin had it, and for what I remember, the batteries he just ate through battery life, and I feel like the actual library wasn't very strong either, so there wasn't many good games on it from what I've seen. I'm not the best for knowing about it because I didn't have one growing up, but from what I've seen from documentaries about it and people talking about their collections, it's not got the strongest of catalogs. Got my throat is like. James says, what are your next 5 games you want, and what is your holy grail? 5 games I want. I do have a list. I could just cheat and look at my list. But anyway, holy grail would be Silent Hill 2 for the PS2. I really want that game, and it's just going to get more and more expensive. And I hate spending more than £30 for a game. I really have to grit my teeth when there's a game that's more than that for me to buy it. Next 5 games I want. It's difficult. What games am I after? What games do I really want that are out there? I see, like, my brain goes dead. Like, I've got a list somewhere. Shall I find my list? It's in my wallet. Where's my wallet? I give up. I really want Silent Hill 2 for the PS2. I do want Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero at some point. Really want to get that game. Massive Dragon Ball fan. You probably could tell by the hoodie. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Really want to play that. What else is out there? I mean, what is out there for other consoles? I've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and I really want to get Castlevania 2 Lords of Shadow for the 360. That's on my list as well. What else is on my list? Mate? I can't remember, but yeah, I'd say Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, those 2 in particular, and I would say my holy grail is the PS2 version of Silent Hill 2. What was your best PS2 rarity find? The thing is, I'm not really finding stuff in the wild in terms of, like, going into boot. I can't go to boot sales because there's nothing local to me and I don't drive, so it's like getting somewhere like that is literally impossible. It's not impossible, but it's a pain in the ass. So, like, when you say best PS2 rarity find, it's mostly a case of, like, I trade stuff in CEX and then I'll buy a game I want. So I don't the whole rarity thing. I don't care about the rarity of something. It's whether, do I want that game? Yes, great, buy it. If I don't, I won't. So rarity doesn't really do much in terms of it. That rarity does not gauge my purchase decisions at all. It's whether I remember the games in my childhood, if I've got fond memories of it, if I remember owning it. It has to be tied to my childhood in some manner for me to buy it. If I had to give an answer, I would probably say Dragon Guard 2 on the PS2. It's a game I never see in the wild, and I found it on eBay cheaper than market value, and I bought it. That's probably the only answer I can give you there. But rarity doesn't really. There's, like, I've said this before, no game in there, no old video game or retro game in any manner, in my opinion, should be £100. I don't like paying more than £30 for a game. I feel like I just feel like the prices of these games, and it fucking pisses me off. You've got all these Pokemon games for GameCube, for Game Boy, right? These Pokemon games, they sold millions upon millions when they came out, but yet they're not rare. You can find them flooding eBay like no one's business, but they're all like £125, £200. I'm like, why? They're not rare. They're not scarce. They're readily available in the second-hand market because millions were sold, but yet people think they can get tooth and nail for them. I don't get it. I don't understand I don't understand the vibe. That's the big culture shock getting into retro gaming, is how these games have just absurdly gone up in price for no fucking reason. I understand games that there's barely any out there, like Rule of Rose. There's barely any out there, so it's £500, £600 game. Fine, I suppose. I still think it's way too much money for a video game. But when you're a massive IP that have sold millions upon millions of games, how dare you in the second-hand market try and get hundreds of pounds for it? I don't understand it. I'm just like, that game, there's an abundance of that game out there, but yet you want to make it unattainable for people because you want hundreds of pounds. It pisses me off like so badly. What was your best ever charity shop find? I found Red Dead Redemption 2 on PS4 for 50p. There you go. That's the best game that I found in a charity shop. And I sold it and got like 20 quid. So I was quite happy about that. Jim Jan also says, did you ever collect gaming magazines in the 90s with the demo discs on the cover? I don't remember actively going out and buying them, but I remember some of the demo discs. So I must have done, right? Or my mum must have bought me them or something. But I don't remember the act of actually going out there and buying them. But I do remember having the demo discs and stuff like that. So yeah, I do remember those. Good times, man. I think demos should be more of a thing. I know it's coming back to more of a prevalence now, but I think every game should have a demo, in my opinion. If they expect 70 quid off you for a game, they should offer a demo, because the one thing I hate is buying a game that looks really cool. You fall into the hype and all of a sudden it's a piece of shit. And guess what game I did that with, guys? Anthem. That's right. I fell into the fucking hype and I was burned hard. Now I don't even look at a game, even though the new Onimusha game has been announced. I'm super hyped about it. I'm still going to wait for reviews. I'm going to wait until I know what this game is, what the quality of it is. If it's a Dark Souls game, if it's a Souls game, it's going to be piss me right off. I don't want that game to be that. But yeah, like Anthem completely burned me hard. That's why I think every game should have a demo for you to try out, because you are parting with your hard-earned money after all. But they won't do that because they don't give a fuck. They just want your money. Fuck you, give me money. Anyway, I feel like this stream's been like super negative, and I don't want it to be super negative, but I'm just being brutal with my honesty here about things. But yeah, it's been fun though, guys. I'm probably gonna, when it gets about 2 hours, I'm probably gonna decide to call it a day, or call it a night even. I came on here planning to be on here for an hour, and it's been an hour and 47 minutes. But it's been good. I'm actually really happy about everyone joining in. I wasn't expecting this kind of turnout in the comments, so thank you so much, guys, for coming along. I was literally shitting my pants like half an hour before going live. Like, oh my god, you could ask Donald. I sent Donald a voice message, go like, oh, what if no one turns up? I'm talking to no one. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming on. It's been fun. Speaking of Donald, here he is. What was your favorite game that you've gone back to and realized it was terrible? Cosmic Spacehead for me. What was your favorite game that you've gone back to and realized is terrible? That's interesting. I don't think I can answer that question. See, does it have to be a favorite game? Oh man, I can tell you a game that's not necessarily a favorite game, but it's from my favorite series, Resident Evil. I don't think I can go and play the original OG PS1 Resident Evil anymore. I think I've been spoiled by the remake. The GameCube remake of Resident Evil is a fucking masterpiece. It's my favorite Resident Evil game. It's my favorite survival horror game ever. And I remember booting up Resident Evil Director's Cut. I've got it digitally on PS3. And it's so dated now to the point where I find it very hard to get into, even though I love that series of games. But I think it's a case of like, I didn't fall in love with that series until Resident Evil 2. I remember playing Resident Evil 1 as a kid and it used to scare the shit out of me. but I don't think I fell in love with the series until number 2 came out. I remember playing the demo, fucking loads of, I remember a magazine had the demo for Resident Evil 2 for PS1. I remember playing the demo section over and over again. So when the full game came out, I was fucking well excited. But yeah, not a favorite game per se, but it's from my favorite series, the original Resident Evil. I don't think I can go back and play that. I did try, and it's very, very like, even the word terrible is wrong. It's not terrible. It's just really old and dated. It hasn't got the quality of life stuff that the later Resident Evil games have. Even number 2 is a massive jump in quality over the original Resident Evil. But yeah, I can't think of a favorite game that I now think is terrible. I can't think that broadly of something. So sorry about that, dude. Angry Retro Gamer. I also really like the Terminator Resistance. Really like Terminator Resistance. Are you interested in the new Terminator Survivor game that is to be announced? I don't know what it is though. I don't know what it's meant to be. Is it meant to be like a Survivor kind of like crafty game? Because I don't care if it is that. I've heard someone saying it might be similar to that Aliens Dark Descent, that kind of XCOM-esque kind of game. So that might be interesting. But I don't know what it's meant to be, so I'm not sure. I'd have to see if they show the game off or whatever. But until I know what kind of game it is, that's when I'll gauge my interest on it. But if it is a crafty Survivor game, I don't care. Oh yeah, about that question. Yeah, it's fine. Shit happens, man. It's all good. Daniel Sanford says, "What is the oldest gaming-related thing you own from your childhood?" Mine's Binatone TV Master from around 1980. It played many variations of Pog. The oldest gaming-related thing from my childhood. I mean, it's probably my Sega Master System Model 2 that I've got with Sonic the Hedgehog. Probably, like, because it's the first video game console that I had. So if it's your words here is from your childhood, so I'm assuming the oldest thing from my childhood that's gaming related that I own in my collection is my Sega Master System 2. So yeah, that's what I've got for that question. Jim Jam asks, okay, what's better, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? I'm a Mortal Kombat boy. I'm sorry. I got into the series with Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PS1, then got Mortal Kombat 4, adore Mortal Kombat 4. Kind of fell off it a little bit with Deadly Alliance and Deception. Wasn't really a big fan of the way they transitioned into those games. But Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat 2011 is one of the best games in the series for me. And I've kind of fallen off it again after that. I've not really played much. I feel like I've fallen off of fighting games in general. I don't think fighting games have been that good since the 90s and early 2000s. I feel like they've become too predatory with just stupid microtransactions and costume packs, all this crap. I just want a good fighting game. That's a problem I feel with fighting games now. I used to love fighting games back in the day. That's a genre of game that I feel like I just don't care about anymore. I don't think they offer enough of a value proposition versus other genres. For example, you're going to get a fighting game. The game is literally you fighting another person, one-on-one fighting. $70 or 70 quid, right? I can go and buy an RPG for the same price, but have hundreds of hours of content there that I can get into. The value, the comparison of value is completely different, right? And I don't think fighting games have the value there for me to make it worthwhile. Just my opinion. There might be rabid fighting fans in the comments right now that go, I'd buy a new fighting game straight away. That's cool, but to me, I don't see the value in them anymore. Back in the day, when it was like Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur 2, the best one. Soul Calibur 2 is the best fighting game ever. I'm just going to die on that hill, I suppose. But yeah, back in the day, those were the best ones, man. That's when fighting games, you had loads of unlockable modes. You had so many unlockable characters for just completing the arcade mode. There was just so much packed into them back in the day. Nowadays, they're as wafer thin as a bit of paper with loads of additional, microtransactions / bills to pay if you want like costumes and additional characters. I just don't think it's worth the money anymore. I just don't think they're as good anymore either, personally. Remember a game as a kid called Shinobi's Quality, Master System game. Very, very cool. I don't have it in my collection because I think it's like a £50 game that for the Master System, but it is a game that I want in the collection because I don't have it. But yeah, Shinobi, good little game that. I love Revenge of Shinobi on the Sega Mega Drive. That's a good one. Is it Revenge of Shinobi or Shinobi 3? I forget what the game was called, but the sequel to Shinobi on the Mega Drive was sick. James P. I heart Uncharted series, but that was a movie based on a game, not a game based on a movie. You like the games, but not the movie, right? I never got into the Uncharted games, funny enough. Going back to a really early question from earlier on about games or franchises that I've never got into. Uncharted, never got into it. I don't know why. Just never can get on board with it. Donald asks, instead of post-apocalyptic, you said poke-apocalyptic. So now I can't stop thinking of Pikachu's being eaten alive by wastelanders. I mean, someone's got to make that, right? It's just like, it's not Mad Max, it's Mad Pika. Have you played that Mad Pika game? It's fucking mental. Pikachu's just going mental in the wasteland. It's mad. Pika P. No. Didn't realise Pikachu could drive, but he's fucking driving 100 miles an hour in an electric powered vehicle. He is the ultimate battery for the electric age. Jim Jam says, okay, it's the year 2000. You walk into an arcade machine. You walk into an arcade. What machine do you go to first? I have no clue. I'm the most. I have the least knowledge to arcade stuff ever. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I mean, if they had Metal Slug, I'd play shitloads of Metal Slug. That's one game I remember playing in the arcades. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, Metal Slug was a big one back in the day. Though, so she played shitloads in the arcades. That's my question, Metal Slug, because I don't know. I don't have another answer for you. That's my answer, Metal Slug. Not question, answer. Jason, you twat. Fucking talk properly. Birdie love. Yeah, you're right. Which is why I either trade them or find something super cheap by sheer chance. Yeah, cool. James P says, my wife got me Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and said she paid over $100. Later the week, the value tanked, but it's still a banger, and I appreciate her thoughtfulness. That's a really cool Spider-Man game. I used to have it on PS3 back in the day when I had a PS3 when it wasn't $100, when it was actually like affordable. Yeah, that's a really good Spider-Man game. You say the value tanked. Obviously, the market in America is different from over here, so I don't know. Like, for example, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions on PS3 is a £75 game in the UK. So I'm not sure what would contribute to a value tanking. There is rumours that Marvel and Disney have penned a deal with Microsoft to bring the old Spider-Man games to Xbox, but I'm not sure if it's just a rumor or whether anything's been confirmed yet. That might be a reason, maybe. Like Xbox Game Pass, we might be getting the older Spider-Man games on Game Pass, but that'd be cool. But that might be a reason, maybe. I don't know if it's a rumor. But yeah, like, I'm not sure if it's dropped in price here in the UK, but it is like a £75 game, which would kind of line up with $100 if my exchange rate maths is correct. Probably isn't because I suck at maths, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much games are getting though. Like, and the Spider-Man games, they always hold their price as well. They don't really usually drop in price. Obviously, I'm basing on the UK market over here, so I'm not sure what the second-hand market is for certain games in North America. Oh, I've just seen a Donald thing that's ridiculous. Birdie Love. You can get Rule of Rose for like 200, 250 quid these days, as they found a lost shipment. Still expensive, but not as it used to be. There's a lot of people on YouTube that believe that those new listings on eBay and that are fake, but maybe they're not. Maybe they have found, a lost box full of them. I mean, it's a crazy chance, isn't it, for someone to do that? But from what I've seen, the game was crap anyway. I wouldn't even want to pay that for it. But no game is worth that. That's still too much. Because I think in the video, I think I said, like, is this game any good? Like, I brought Rule of Rose as an example. Is it actually any good? Because I don't know. And someone in the comment was like, no, it's crap. I'm like, there you go. I remember I went into CEX and they had Clock Tower 3. And I'm like, okay, not played that one before, but it's a Capcom survival horror, so I might like it. I looked into it. It looked rubbish. And they wanted £65 for it. I'm just like, I'm literally just buying it for the sake of it being survival horror and Capcom. I'm not going to like this, am I? So I just kind of didn't bother. That's the thing. Like, I almost went beyond my means with that one just because it was Capcom and it was survival horror. But it looked bad, so I didn't buy it. But yeah, £250. Sure, it's half of what it used to be, but still too much. Still too much. Don Magic Gaming just paid £75 for My Horse and Me 2 on the 360. You are a crazy man. Oh man, crazy man. That's all I got to say to you, mate. Like, fuck that. Sod that. Yesterday I found a copy of Obscure 2 for only a tenner and got it. No manual, but it's still worth it. Awesome fun. I'm assuming that's the PS2 version, because I think the Wii version's a bit cheaper. I think the Wii version is cheaper. James Mark says, what do you think the impact would be if CEX closed down on the retro market? Personally, on a personal front, I won't be able to collect anymore because I use CEX as mostly they are the single outlet that has allowed me to collect. Their trading prices are pretty decent, all things considered. So I've been able to trade stuff that I don't want anymore to get a voucher to fund my retro collection. So without them, I don't think I'd be able to continue the collection as often as I have. Like, there'll be big stretches in between, pickup videos or just me generally getting something. Because I'd have to rely on eBay. I would have to rely on Vinted. The problem with those services is that I'm just using straight money, right? Whereas with CEX, I always can trade in and kind of use the trade-in voucher towards a new game for the collection. So it would completely affect my habits immediately, right? How it would affect the retro market, it's hard to say because CEX have got such a monopoly on creating what I would like to call the baseline price. People that are selling retro on eBay and Vinted, they will probably gauge on what CEX sell for and maybe undercut a little bit. Or sometimes, if they want to be greedy, they add like another tenner on top for some fucking reason. So it's hard to say, but CEX are going nowhere. I don't think. I think they're too prevalent in the high street. They're too big. They are the number one place for video games on the high street. Game is dead, pretty much. Especially for the second-hand market, game is completely dead. It's just for the fucking, I don't know, game is full of like just merchandising crap now, and the odd bits of brand new games. Barely any of them though. I went into my local Sports Direct, and the majority of the game section was just all merchandising shit and a little bit of shelves of games. So game is not even going by their actual fucking name anymore. But yeah, CEX, if it goes down tomorrow, my habits will change as a collector, and I feel like hopefully things will maybe simmer down a bit in terms of pricing, but you can never gauge these things. But CX do have a stranglehold on. They are the measuring stick on pricing for retro games at the moment. And the thing is, as well, once they started doing that manual and no manual thing, people thought they had money just in manuals, because there was some games they had where it was like £20 more expensive to have it with the manual. So in their mind, they're putting a £20 markup just for the manual. So then people will see that and go, oh, my manual's worth 20 quid. I'll put that on eBay on its own. And then it's just things were happening where it was just like, I can't decide if they've made it worse now. Even though, like, if you would buy on the website, it was a case of like, please have a manual, please. And then you will. You'd be like, oh, yes. But now it's like, you can tell, especially the bigger hitter games, it will tell you. If it's less than £35, I don't think it tells you. So you still got that kind of like luck thing going on. But yeah, there's a lot of damage. Some of this stuff has happened, I think, and only in the UK because CX is UK based. But yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen, that might not happen. It's hard to gauge, but from a personal perspective, my buying habits will change. Well, they'll have to change, because I won't be able to rely on the trading system with CX anymore if they close down tomorrow, for example. They're not going nowhere. They're too big. They're too big. And look, there's me saying I'll finish the stream at 2 hours, and it's fucking gone 2 hours. But I don't want to leave anyone's comment out. I feel bad. Birdie love. Same as in the American market, things would probably spiral into a chaotic mess in pricing. Fair. White on TV. White on you. Is it white on TV? I'm hopefully I've got that. I guess that's how your name is said. Sorry if I'm butchering your username. Thanks for joining the stream. How long do you think you'd survive if you were trapped in the Spencer estate from Resident Evil? Now, fuck getting these keys. If you've got a shotgun, you're going to blow those doors off the hinges, aren't you? So I think my time in the Spencer mansion would be a lot less time wasted looking for keys and more time trying to escape. And I feel like the characters in Resident Evil, as much as I love the series so much, they get too wrapped into the inner workings of what's happening rather than let's get the fuck out. And I'm more like, let's get the fuck out of here now. So I think I'd be not more efficient, that's the wrong word, because they are like trained police officers and proper like high ranking team. I think it'd be more the case of like, fuck looking around for keys. Give me that shotgun, just blow the doors off their hinges and just try and find your way out as quick as possible. Yeah, that's what I do. But in reality, I'll probably get eaten the first corner I turn around. I'll probably get eaten by a Zom. So I'll be fucked. But I like to think that I'll be able to do things a bit better than the STARS unit. But we all know I'll probably be eaten. But yeah, that's I think, how long do you think I'd survive? On the optimal side of things, I think I'd be able to survive my whole ordeal there, because I think I'll be more focused on getting the fuck out than actually figuring out what's going on. Couldn't give a fuck. Get the fuck out. But on a realistic kind of note, I think I'll turn up, go into a room, and just immediately get eaten. So I reckon about 10 minutes at the most. Donald says, great stream, matey. Here's for the next one. Thank you, Donald, man. Appreciate you being here. James says, Shattered Dimensions peaked at $110 or so. It dropped to less than $70 US. Okay, interesting. I wonder what caused that to happen. I'm sure it must be re-released somewhere, or is going to be re-released, because usually a re-release does cause a price drop somewhere, right? Birdie Bird Love. No, man, they are not. CX has verified them. CX has verified them. They are legit. Who are legit? Am I missing something? What am I missing with this? I don't know what you mean by that comment. Sorry, mate. Angry Richard Gamer says, thank you. I always enjoy your videos and appreciate the live stream. Happy gaming, CNC. Thanks so much for joining us, Angry Retro. Appreciate it, mate. Birdie Bird Love. Thanks for taking the time. I'm looking forward to your next 5 game videos. Cool, man. Thanks a lot for joining the stream. Appreciate it. Last comment, Daniel Sanford. Great live stream. Thank you for your quality. Thanks for the quality entertainment. Thank you so much for joining, Daniel. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I really have had fun here. My throat hasn't. I can't talk anymore. But yeah, thanks you, everyone, for joining. Let's gonna call it a day now because I need to recover because I can't talk. Been rambling for 2 hours. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for all the support in the last year for the channel. It's done gangbusters. I can't express how awesome it has been to be a part of this channel and see you guys, commenting in the videos and liking the videos and stuff like that. So thanks so much. Until next time, let's continue to build the games collection. See you later.